I'm Jill's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. So today, because it's the beginning of the year and not a lot of like new music really comes out at the end of the year and then at the beginning of the year.
Right. Who's coming out January 26th?
16th. That's A$AP Rocky.
Yep.
That's like the first album that I know of that's coming out this year.
Looking forward to that album.
But anyway, because of that, I think for this one and then probably for the next week or two, we're going to cover like older albums that I wanted to talk about because we just wanted something to talk about.
Right.
And this time, we're going back to an album from 2024 that I actually, when this came out, I feel like I was thinking about having us do it, and then for some reason, we just didn't.
Okay.
Because I did cover it on my blog, and I loved it. And that's Dark Times by Vince Staples. Vince Staples is someone that I'm assuming you didn't really know a lot about or anything about, like going into this.
Nope, but I learned a lot.
He's someone who I've liked for a long time. I've been a big fan of him since high school. I actually saw him open for Mac Miller.
No. Oh, well, they were good friends. Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
At the rave. That's probably the first time I would have heard of him.
Oh, you saw Mac Miller at the rave?
Yeah, I saw him like 5 times.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I saw him like 5 times at the rave.
Wow, that's cool.
But anyway, no, that would have been the first time I came across Vince Staples.
Mm-hmm.
And he's someone that's sort of been, I would say, like on like the outskirts of mainstream rap for the last like 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
He's never been like super mainstream, but he's associated with other mainstream artists. Like Mac Miller, like we mentioned. Another person he was like pretty heavily associated with was Tyler the Creator. Although he was never actually in the Odd Future group. He like just like hung out with them and stuff.
Okay.
And he also was early in his career was like associated with Schoolboy Q.
Yeah.
And he's had like several like very good albums over the years.
Okay.
The biggest one being Big Fish Theory, which he talks about on this record. And that came out in, I believe it's 2015. That's considered for most people to be like his big hit album, his best
breakout
record.
album or something.
Yeah. I would argue that all his music before that and after is just as good, but it is like his biggest record.
Okay.
He's someone who, if you like listen to his music, you would know. We found out in this record, he like grew up in Long Beach and was a Crip growing up. And a lot of his music like talks about like his history and his backstory, but it does not glorify it really.
No, not at all.
It more like tries to like make people like not, or like convince people to not like go into that sort of lifestyle.
Correct. And even though he was a Crip, he in an interview said, I never did drugs and I was never an alcoholic. So,
well yeah, he never did that, but he obviously like sold it.
Right, sold it. But I mean, how interesting that he was involved
Yeah.
in that and never got
There are
into
actually more people than you would think that are like that, because like they see it as a business.
Okay.
It's like something that they're selling to people, not something that they're doing.
Got it. Oh,
okay. But anyway, he's had like a very interesting life, as is detailed in his TV show, which I believe is on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
And I don't know if you watched any of it.
I watched a clip of it. Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's been on there, you said, for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, for a couple of years. I think it's
that
season
crazy?
2.
That is just crazy.
I believe it's in season 2.
Okay.
And because of that show, I think the second season just came out, actually.
Okay.
He's been doing interviews and press, and
a lot of interviews.
He started to like go viral again for this album, Dark Times.
Okay.
Which at the time when it came out in 2024, it was actually, once again, we didn't talk about it on our blog. I actually thought it was one of my favorite albums of last year, definitely.
Okay.
Like going into it, I'm already saying that.
Yeah.
You already like know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But because of that, I thought it's something that you would like, because a lot of times you are more attracted to like the slower and like more like lyrical like rap music, and that's like definitely what this is.
Definitely.
It doesn't really like necessarily fit into a lot of what like other mainstream rap sounds like right now.
Yeah, that we've listened to as well.
Yeah, at least that we've covered at least.
So what does his series actually cover?
It's like his life.
His life, but he plays an actor. Does he play himself?
Well, he's like playing himself.
And then, but he like does it as an acting thing. It's not like a documentary.
No,
type
it's
thing?
not a documentary.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like kind of like comedy.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, because of that show, he's been in the media and stuff. So I wanted to talk about this record because I've been seeing people post about it, how it was underrated at the time, and I felt that way. So I'm happy that it's starting to like get a little like traction here. Before we actually talk about any of the or talk about how we feel about Dark Times, is there anything else like you want to add or?
So as he mentioned, he and Mac Miller were best friends.
Yeah,
Like,
well, they were really good friends.
Really good friends.
I think because in the interview he did with Z-Way, he like mentions it. I think he like thought of him more as like a mentor.
Yes, he did.
Not like necessarily as a friend.
They said they were close.
They were
friends.
close.
Yeah.
Well, they were close, but like I'm saying like what? No, I'm saying like what he said.
Oh, that was more
like
of a
people
mentor.
say he was like best friends, but like he said that I saw him more as like a mentor than like a friend. Like they were close, but almost like almost like a brother in a way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what I thought, you know, as we obviously know what happened to Mac Miller, he in an interview, Vince Staples said that, you know, despite everything that Mac Miller was going through, and being an addict and everything, in an interview he actually said that no matter what was happening, Mac Miller was always trying. He was always trying to get better, and all you can ask for is for somebody to try. So, you know, even though I think obviously he was blasted a lot because of the fact that he was an addict, but that's someone he knows was saying, you know what, he really was trying. It's just unfortunately it didn't work.
If you like watch like that Z-Way interview or other interviews, it's interesting how he like talks about that stuff like drug abuse, especially considering someone who obviously had not done it himself.
Right.
Because she like says that like asks him, or he like says how he like gives money to a lot of his like friends and family. Like he's like the provider. And a lot of like homeless people that he knows he like gives money to. And he like kind of like jokingly but like seriously says in the interview is like, she's like, what are you giving him money for? He's like, I mean like crack and heroin. And she like kind of like scoffs, and he's like, I mean like they're not buying food, like, you know.
Right, it's the same thing.
But like it's also like his loved ones, and he knows. So at one point he's like feeding into it. At the other time, they're gonna do it anyway.
Right,
so.
but it's for people, you know, family, loved ones.
Yeah.
So
they would find a way to get the money probably.
Right, and then they would find probably a way to get the money in a really bad way.
Yeah,
too.
so at least he's giving them money.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like an interesting take on it because he obviously knows what he's doing isn't right, but at the same time, I'm sure he's tried to help people and
I'm sure.
Everyone like rehab doesn't work for everyone.
Right.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, I don't know. I found that fascinating. But anyway, like we usually do, we're going to cover some of our favorite songs and then go over like more overall thoughts on the record at the end. And the first one is one of my mom's picks, although it's not an actual song, but
yeah,
I don't know why you picked this. But
because I like it. I think there's so much visualization to this song, that intro, that even though it's really an intro, there's a lot of meaning behind it.
Well, I mean, I guess you can tell me like what meaning do you think it gives to the rest of the album? Because I don't know.
Okay, all right. So the song is "Close Your Eyes and Swing," and the album itself, as you mentioned, Long Beach. He talks a lot about his life in Long Beach, but he also talks about like, you know, trying to find happiness, things that have happened, not only maybe now, but maybe in the past and stuff like that have been traumatic. And so this song, I mean, you would have to close your eyes. When you listen to it, you have to really close your eyes to like get the visualization of it. But it begins with like calming visual sounds of like birds singing and a wind chime ringing. And to me, that would be like something you could just like sit in a chair or sit on the ground and like meditate to, because it's just so, the bells, the wind chimes ringing, and just the beautiful visualization behind it is really, really calming. It's super calm. And that's why it says close your eyes and swing. And in addition to that, this would also be the type of song that I just imagine like living in a countryside and having one of those porch swings, and you're just like swinging back and forth, on it while listening to that. So the sound then turns into someone playing the piano. So you're getting all this meditation sound, and then all of a sudden, it's a presumption of innocence. So it really gives the idea of things being innocent. And the lyric that it only has two like lyrics, if you would. And the lyric that goes with this is to live it, to be it. So it's like to live it, to be it. So to live in this calmness means to be in this calmness. And all of a sudden, wham, the whole image goes away, because then the short lyric of the song takes a drastic turn into the reality of racism. And it says to live it, to be it, like the N word in the tree. So you're like listening to this beautiful, and all of a sudden it's like, wow. And he really, again, close your eyes and swing. You're closing your eyes, and then wham, your eyes like fly open. You're like, wow, that visualization, and you can really see where he goes in that visualization. You can put it together.
Well, a couple things I want to say is, one, it's interesting because, and I guess I don't know if maybe he had some grandparent that lives somewhere in like a country area, because that's
what I thought.
Like whatever, this sound or this imagery would not be like where he's from. Definitely not. That would not be Long Beach.
So you don't think that sad stuff like that might happen in Long Beach?
No, I'm saying.
The imagery. You're not in Long Beach listening
like
to
that,
birds and chimes.
Yeah, I'm saying like that doesn't sound like Long Beach.
So that, you're right. It made me think like, he had a family member who lived in an area like that.
And when he was a kid, he went there or something like that. And speaking of, like the last lyric of it, that line, it's like something he like actually like in interviews, he like talks about like slavery and stuff a lot.
Oh, okay.
And just like racism and like how it's like affected like how his view on the world, basically.
Yeah.
And his perspective is like really interesting too, because he knows that he's in a position of privilege.
Yes.
And I'll talk about this like more later, but like he like always makes like a joke that like he knows that a lot of his fans are like 20 to 30-year-old like white people, like me. And like he's like making music that's not for a certain demographic, even though that demographic really likes and resonates it, and he likes that his fans are getting like, I guess, like politicized or whatever, and like wanting to like be on his side with a lot of these thoughts, but at the same time, it's not like for these people necessarily. Right.
And that these two sets of lyrics definitely has it.
But he knows like what it is. This is a business. Actually, like another thing he said is like he thinks that like rap and hip hop like majorly contributes to like what like goes on and like a bad things in society.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but okay.
No, it's interesting because he's like, like when you like you rap certain things or whatever, people listen to it and they want to do it.
Okay.
And then the interviewer is like, like, are you contributing to it? And he's like, yes, I am. But he's like, I know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to make a living, like, for my family. This is my job. I thought it was, like, a really interesting perspective on it.
Right.
Like, he knows exactly what he's doing, and, like, all the other things aside, the actual music does definitely sometimes inspire people. I mean, listen to like, Chicago drill music, for instance. Like, it inspires people to do certain things. I just think that perspective is interesting.
Well, I respect that I guess you could say he has more of a business aspect to what he's doing.
Yeah,
because he knows like what he's doing and who he's giving it to. Whereas MC Hammer, became poor because he was doing the same thing. He was providing for family, but then cousins, he like everybody was taking his money from him. Nobody's taking the money from him. He's giving them the money.
Yeah. Well, he obviously loves making music and like all this stuff, but he also, like I said, sees it as his job. He's gonna, perform for the people who come to his shows and whatever. It is what it is. But I find that perspective interesting. Just going into this album, every song, I think, you can like talk about the lyrics like for a long time because a lot of it is like very relevant.
Right. And I mean, I don't know how long we've been talking about this intro, but it's just an intro that has so much meaning to it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Close Your Eyes and Swing. The next one we picked is one of my picks. This was probably one of my favorite songs of last year too. It's Étouffé.
And in French it means suffocating.
Yeah, which sort of does relate to the lyrics of the song if you think about it. Because the song starts out with like what sounds like a shootout.
Yes, there's dogs barking and then it's like massive shootout.
It's just like a shootout. And then it goes into the melody, which is, I would say this is the most like pleasant and like poppy sounding song on the whole record. And which like really contrasts like that intro.
He's good with these intro aspects of it, I'll tell you. He's
always done that.
He really gives you visual visual experiences with his songs, which isn't obviously always the case.
Yeah, I feel like he's always done that. But so anyway, like I said, this song has like this like poppy and like upbeat sound. The vocals are pretty just like they're like pretty like poppy too. He sings on the chorus, and I actually thought this could end up being like a hit single or something, and now it's kind of starting to become popular.
Because do you think maybe because of all the press he's
because
getting
of all the press,
so people are listening now? Okay.
But like it had like a sound to me that like it could be on the radio or something.
Okay.
And like as good as the sound is, the lyrics are like what really gets me for this, because in the first verse he talks about like once what we were just talking about, how he's like trying to make a living or whatever, and this is his job, and he just wanted to like make it out of the hood basically.
How interesting that like a lot of people are like, well, I started making music because I love it and all that, and he obviously loves it, but for him he thinks of it really as a job.
It was a way to get out of a situation. He talks about it on other songs too. And one thing he mentions, which I think is interesting, is, and he mentions this multiple times throughout the album, but it's like really blatant in this song, is how he has like a weird like, I guess, complex about how people feel about the album Big Fish Theory that I mentioned, because that's considered like his magnum opus. And there's a line where he says like people say like he's been weak since. And he's had a couple albums come out since then, and I'm trying to defend him, where I think his music has been good, and you just haven't been listening.
Okay.
Or part of it is because Big Fish Theory had a way more like quirky and like kind of like upbeat sound to most of the record. Okay. And even this record, this song's more upbeat, but a lot of the songs are slower. Okay. And maybe his fans wanted like that sound, that more like poppy sound, and they got it on this song.
All right.
But in the second verse, or throughout the rest of the song, really, he talks about like where he came from and like what he used to do, like like cripping and like shootouts and. So do you think that
like the suffocating part might have been like he was suffocating from all that stuff that was happening to him?
Yeah. Okay. No, definitely. No, like in the third verse, like he like really gets into it. Like the last line of it is like it's basically like if you're living it, the ghetto is a mismatch and you're never gonna win that. And he's like basically saying like he knew what he had to do to get out. People think that you can make a lot of money doing like selling drugs and doing this stuff or whatever. But at the end of the day, like you're most likely always going to lose because it's just set up for you to lose. It is. Whether you think it's the activities you're doing, the racism, the police, everything, it's set up for you to lose. And he's like trying to motivate people to like not think that that's all they have to do.
Right. Don't suffocate with it.
Yeah. Like you grew up in it, and it is like what you're doing, but like you can try to do something else.
It doesn't have to define who
Yeah.
you are. It's always going to be there internally, emotionally, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to define you.
And I think that's what the suffocate means. He's like, basically from the first verse, it's like, don't suffocate your own creativity based on what people want you to do.
Right.
Because he's just gonna like try to make money making music.
Right.
And then also don't get suffocated if you grew up in a certain situation or like ended up in a situation. Like you can always get out of it if you try.
Right.
And
it may be difficult. I mean, the journey is probably not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult, but again, don't
staying's
let it
going to make it worse.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't get better.
Right.
So that's Etouffee. The next song we picked is Radio, which was one of my mom's picks, and this is actually like probably the most popular song on the album as far as like fans go, and I can understand why. But yeah, I'll let you talk about it.
So I thought it was interesting when he was saying that Etouffee should have been like a song that you hear on the radio. And so for me, this song was really... Go ahead.
Well, this is another song that kind of feels that way. It has like more of like a poppy feeling to it.
Right. And this song to me really brought nostalgia to me. And it's because when when I was growing up, songs were popular on the radio, and he even talks about here where if a song was going to come out, like there was the top 10 every week on WKLP or something like that, so you would wait with your record, with your like cassette tape, and as soon as the song started, boom, you'd start recording, because you didn't want to have to go out and buy the albums, which were very expensive. So but again, even though you had to do that, the sound coming from the radio and the popularity of the radio was just amazing. It really was.
So I believe Vince Staples is around my age. I think he's like maybe like 32, 33.
Okay.
And I'm 31, and I actually like related a lot to this too, because like I grew up like half of my life would have been the streaming era, but the beginning of it was the radio era.
Yes, definitely.
And I remember waking up and like listening to, he mentions Big Boy, which is the LA guy. I remember waking up and listening to Sway in the morning, or like after school you would turn on the radio, and if you're from Milwaukee, you would know Reggie Smooth as Butter Brown was like the guy. Like that's how I would like get new music.
Yeah, well, you guys also they didn't have Spotify or phones
that
played
saying,
music.
like,
they had a boombox. You guys actually had a boombox with a cassette tape, or eventually the CD in it.
Yeah.
But that's how you
that was like the first like half of my life, and
right.
the second half like went into like what it is now.
Right.
And younger people listening to this would not relate to this.
No, they wouldn't get it.
Yeah, you just don't even get it.
No.
But I felt that way too. Like I honestly do miss it. I
do too.
I've said for years, sorry I cut you off on this, but I've said for years, I think Apple Music sort of does it, where they have like DJ, like radio stations kind of.
Oh, that's nice.
Where you can like have a DJ is like talking and playing music.
Like they used to.
Yeah, like it's the radio, except like obviously without ads, because it's on Apple.
Right.
And Spotify doesn't have that, and I've always wanted them to for years. They have this stupid AI one. Like I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where it's like
called
some
DJ.
Yeah, whatever. They have that, but no, like they don't have like an actual. I used to love like listening to like Sway, and you would interview someone and they would come freestyle because they were promoting their album. That was like the big thing, to go like freestyle on the radio.
Right. And you knew which stations had the songs. So like 102.9 would have been more rock, but 103.7 would have been more of this.
Yeah.
And so even in my head, I still remember that. But now when you go to these channels and you listen to them, no, they're not what they used to be at all. You wouldn't hear Vince Staples on 103.7.
Yeah. But that was like I don't know, I really relate to this too.
Yeah, so it's for people my age definitely, but in your age category, you're really gonna appreciate what it means. So for him, he also said it's a feeling of, again, how how you just said it, how the radio contrasts to media today. just how it does. But hearing that Apple Music does that, that's really, I like that.
So I know like Zane Lowe is on there.
Okay.
And he's the one, he does those interviews, so.
Almost makes me want to switch from Spotify to there.
That's interesting. It is better. Yeah.
It is better?
Yeah.
Okay. But again, but the other thing is this, when he's talking about the radio, he's like, you know, and he, like, the reference comes in from an interview. It's like he's actually referring to older musicians too, like Smokey Robinson, Etta James, Roberta Flack, and all that stuff.
I remember in that verse of the song too, it kind of relates to what I said before. Mm-hmm. The girl that he's talking to says like she doesn't listen to rap music because she says he says I'm a rapper, and he's like, why? And she's like, why would you listen to music where people are talking to women like that? Mm-hmm. And it like kind of relates to him knowing like what the content in hip hop is and like how it affects people.
Right.
He like says it. I find that interesting because I heard him talk about it in an interview 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But he says it on this song that came out a year and a half ago.
Wow.
So it's something that he's been thinking about, obviously.
Yeah, he's aware of it. But then it also, it's like, okay, I'm aware of what it does. But like if you go back to those singers, like I'll take the male portion of it, Smokey Robinson, he never like would have. That sound would have never been towards negativity or anything.
I think that he says that like when he like mentions these artists, it's he's saying like the girl told him to listen to these people instead of like hip hop. Maybe maybe up until that point, all he really did was listening to rap music.
Could be.
And then someone at some point, like, kind of showed him, like, there's, like, other stuff you can listen to.
Definitely. Yeah. So he was saying in the lyrics, it's, he says, but to me, the just words, it wasn't really trying to hear it till she kicked me to the curb.
Well, that was the argument he was having with her. Mm-hmm. That, you know, he's like, oh, it's just words. Like, it doesn't mean anything. You just listen to it. And she's like, no, like, it's influencing people to talk to people a certain way.
Right.
Because that's what they're hearing.
Right. All right. So then he goes on to say, now it's Smokey Robinson, and then he also listened to Roberta Flack, and that's who she's trying to get him to. But then I thought this was interesting. Etta James and Amy Winehouse were waiting for the day she'd take me back. So Smokey and Roberta Flack and Etta were from a while ago.
Yeah.
I guess I always thought that Amy Winehouse was more in the streaming era.
No,
but obviously
she's before that.
So I didn't realize that she was like a radio person per se.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she has a lot of streams, but no, like she was like mainly early to mid 2000s, I would say.
Yeah, wow.
And Amy Winehouse, isn't one of her biggest songs like a cover of an Etta James song?
I know Valerie, but that's not it.
Is that Etta James?
No, that's a guy singing it. I know. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but still, it might be a different song.
Yeah, I thought she has like a cover of an Etta James song.
Yeah. So in addition to that, she's obviously encouraging him to listen to Etta James. And then, you know, when you go back and talk about what this girl wanted him to listen to and the lyrics of those songs. So Smokey Robinson, for example, he's got Tracks of My Tears is a famous one. And he says, so take a good look at my face, okay? You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. So it's more... I guess emotional driven, whereas if you put that into rap, it's going to come out very different.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, yeah, that's just how they wrote back then.
Right. And then Etta James has done the song At Last, which is a big wedding song. And she says, at last, my song has come along. So it's like her song finally came along. Her lonely days are over, and now her life is like a song. So... there you go.
Yeah. It is interesting, like how the girl the first half of the song is obviously just about the radio, but the second half is like about artists on the radio, but more like how music affects people.
And great if you've never listened to any of these artists, artists to listen to, definitely.
So that's radio. Then the next one we picked is one of my picks. Is Little Homies. I think it's funny that, you know, in Etouffee, he like talks about how people basically like wanted that like more upbeat sound from him and the Big Fish theory you mentioned, and I picked the two most upbeat songs on the record. Although like I will say like I think pretty much every song is good and I like the slower ones.
Yes.
But that does really like feed into that point.
Right. Well, then going back to Etouffee, so this girl is trying to get him to listen to like older radio songs, but the beat at the end of Etouffee is "Back That Ass Up" or "Back That Ass Up." So it's almost like he's like saying yes, I need to, but then all of a sudden he's going back to the rap part, you know, putting that beat in there.
Yeah, he's like kind of like contrasting with like
yeah.
if he wants to make the slower music or if he wants to make the faster stuff.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, a lot of thought put into that. I like that.
But Little Homies is another one with a very like bright melody.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And it's another song that's like kind of once again like telling people to like not want to like live or be like not like try to like get out of like your situation or whatever.
Right. Don't let it engulf you or drown you. Basically, try to almost come to the surface and you know.
Like the hook of this song is, and I'll listen to this if I'm like you know down or whatever and need some motivation. The hook is "Life's hard, but I go harder."
Yes.
And like he keeps saying that over and over.
Yes, he does.
And I think like he says like don't clock out or like don't give up.
Right. And that's I mean even if you didn't come from Long Beach, California, that's true of everybody because life is very hard. So again with the mental health and I understand this from various perspectives of life, that when it brings you down, you are so engulfed in what is happening and like knowing what you have, the negativity of it and all the side effects, but you have to work to get out of it. Yeah. You really do have to work to get out of it. And once you do, you'll be able to look back on that and say, like he said, I go hard, but I'm going harder. You know, because he wants to get out of that situation.
Life's hard, but I go harder.
Yeah, exactly.
I would assume that he has struggled with this stuff, and that's why he's talking about it.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
Which is like you don't, like one reason why I really like this is you really do not see rappers who make this kind of music ever like blatantly talk about this kind of thing that way. Right.
I think there was one person, but I can't remember who it was.
It was doesn't happen often. Or like maybe they'll talk about it, but like not in this way.
Not in a way that says
that's
you
like
can
saying
get
like
better.
you can do it.
You can do it. Yeah. It's every song.
You listen to like I love Juice WRLD or Lil Peep, but like their music was like you can't do it, and then they ended up not doing it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, like Mac Miller, almost exactly 100%.
And like I wonder, like you know, you keep mentioning Mac Miller, and I wonder if that like affected him in like an incredible way,
and if that's maybe like a background purpose to this song too.
I'm sure that's not the only person in his life who's died from drug overdose and had mental health.
Especially if he was a crip.
But it is someone who we had a close relationship with who like in the music space.
Right.
Who was that way.
Yep. So I'm sorry I interrupted. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I think Little Homies is one. It's really cool because it's like this like upbeat, positive song, like sounding song with a message that like goes with it. So that's Little Homies, but before like we talk about our overall thoughts, which we've also like kind of done that already, there's like other songs that I wanted to mention. I think Government Cheese is a really interesting song.
Okay, and that talks back what you said about cheese, you know?
Yeah, well it's about like race, like the system and racism and like thinking that it's not helping people.
Right. That's what are those cards that you have that if you have food stamps? What are those cards?
SNAP.
Yeah, and so basically that's a lot of times that's almost all they can get out of it is cheese because there's hardly any money on it.
Yeah, and I think that song is basically talking about that, like that literal point. Yep. Yeah. In fact, I just actually, on a side note, I think I saw that SNAP is like banning, and there's like 10 states where you can't get like candy and soda with it.
I just read that. Yeah, I just read that.
Which like that's, I mean, I know technically that's not healthy, but that's a grocery item.
Right. Well, and then there's many stores that are just banning it.
Yeah, period. You just can't use it for anything.
You can't use it at all.
So like, what's the point in this government system that literally is not like providing for people.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's Government Cheese. I think that one's cool. I think I know, like you said, you liked it. Justin is a really interesting song because he's like talking about like meeting a girl and they go back to her place, and then at the end of the song, you would presume her boyfriend comes home, and she refers to Vince Staples as her little cousin Justin, and he's just kind of like, what the hell? Yeah, like
that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like makes you think of that song "Just a Friend" by Biz Markie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, which is like has a similar feeling to that.
Yeah.
Then the other one I wanted to bring up was Freeman. I also thought you might pick Freeman.
Okay.
Because I think it's really interesting. It's like one of the slower songs, but lyrically it's about he's like, I met this girl that said that like she really relates and resonates with my music.
Okay.
And he's kind of going back to her that like it's just music and it's just lyrics. Like you can resonate to it, but like don't make it everything.
Don't turn it into your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So she says that she relates to like what he's saying too, and she feels like she's friends with him because of that. And that's like something that happens for a lot of artists. Like online, they refer to it as parasocial. I don't know if you've heard that term.
No.
But it's like the idea of people becoming obsessed with like streamers and stuff.
Oh.
Because their job is to talk to people who are watching them, like literally, like they're chatting and they're responding.
Yeah.
But you're not friends with these people.
Right.
You will most likely never meet them.
Right. So almost like stalkerish in a way. Yeah.
But like for streaming, the whole idea of it like promotes that because
yeah, it does. It does.
Because like that's literally what it is. Like we're talking to someone. They're talking back to you.
Right.
And
that's true. I never thought about it
that
way.
Yeah. So like why wouldn't it end up being that way?
That's true.
Like,
maybe he should have a song about that. That it's just a song.
Well, no, that's kind of what he's saying on that song Freeman though, where he's like, you know, like you don't know me. Like you can like my music and resonate with it, but
you don't know me.
We're not actually friends, and don't like make it everything, which is like a really interesting sentiment, like I said, because like what artist is like telling people like don't love my music that much.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so those were a few songs that I just wanted to shout out as well. Although I pretty much think every song on this album is good. It just like Dark Times has like a really like interesting perspective on everything.
It
like
does.
A lot of artists, like we said, don't really cover mental health, and he like talks about his past but does not glorify it.
No, not at all.
He talks about like relationships with women too. And like how you should like treat women, and then also like how he thinks that, or how people like lie, how people like lie to you and like you lie to them or whatever. It's like lyrically, like it's kind of like it's extremely deep. That's why I wanted it to like resonate or hit more with people, because it's actually saying something. Like I'd have thought before like we went into this, I wanted to say this, and I just remembered, like. Like some people thought that the 21 Savage, like his saying like F the streets, that movement.
Yeah.
It was like corny, and one, it's obviously trying to promote his album, but like it felt like he didn't go about it the right way, or he didn't really mean what he was saying, if that makes sense.
I've actually heard, because I've heard the meaning behind it was good, but people in that area are like, it's not as effective as what he wanted it to be.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think he is serious, because if you listen to his music, he talks about these people that have died or whatever, and I think he really is serious. But like you said, it did not hit with people the way people like took it, as it being corny. Right. Which they shouldn't take it that way. And this album, I think, does, in my opinion at least, like would probably do a lot better job at like because it's saying kind of the same thing. Yeah. But in a
totally different way.
Yeah, in a way that like it makes, I don't know if it makes more sense, but like
it does.
Yeah, it hits harder. Right. Yeah. Like it's like the way he says it's like, just because like you lived this, like don't be ashamed of who you are.
Right. Whereas F the Streets is like, we're going to go through and just everything up. And he's not really saying, let's try to, try to improve yourself.
Well, he's not saying like, yeah, like, how are you going to do that?
Right.
Yeah. Vince Staples is more about it like, yeah, like, it's fine. Like, you live that way, it's whatever, but don't do it now.
Right. Make your life better.
Try to make it better.
And it's going to be hard.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are some of my thoughts on Dark Times. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Everything you were saying, because I was talking along with you. So
yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, if like you watch this and like you didn't listen to this when it came out, like please actually listen to it. When I wrote about this on my blog, I tried to get people at my old work, I was telling people to listen to this because I'm like, trust me, like it's really good. And I got a few people and they're like, you were right.
Yes.
Because it just like hits hard in a different way, and it's a lot different than other rap music that's coming out right now. Even other indie and like non-mainstream rap is not really like this.
Okay. But
at least in my opinion. But yeah, so those are our thoughts on Vince Staples' album Dark Times. Also, if you like this album, watch his show too, because it's pretty good, and watch his interviews because
I was watching some of those.
He just has like a very interesting perspective, and like we kind of said, some of the stuff he brings up in these interviews is themes of this album, so it's stuff that he's been thinking about for a long time.
Exactly.
And maybe when the album came out, because it wasn't as popular as, in my opinion, it should have been, he wasn't able to like get these messages out in the media in interviews, because I don't think he was like interviewed like that.
Right, but now that season 2 of his show
now the show is doing really well,
now he can talk about it, and
he can like get those thoughts out. But yeah, I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes, and thanks for watching.
Bye.